KOAA News 5 at 6.
And good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 5 at 6. I'm Rob Quirk. Diane is off tonight. We are learning more this evening about a previous case involving the suspected gunman in the Club Q shooting. Turns out the case never made it to trial after prosecutors say they couldn't get key witnesses to testify under oath or respond to subpoenas. News 5's Alasyn Zimmerman with the response from the district attorney's office. She is live tonight at the courthouse. Alasyn?
Rob, it's been a couple of weeks since the shooting at Club Q, and up until now, we haven't been able to get any information about this 2021 case involving the suspected gunman because it was sealed under state law. But now we're finally learning more about just what happened with the suspect.
In the existence of 21 CR 3485 or even an extreme risk protection order would not have prevented the Club Q shooting.
That's what District Attorney Michael Allen told reporters today after a case from 2021 involving the suspected gunman in the Club Q shooting was ordered to be unsealed by a judge. We learned today that case was dismissed by a judge, which caused the records to be sealed. Here's what we now know happened. The suspect was arrested in June 2021 in response to a bomb threat he made to his family members. The suspect's bond was set at $1 million. Charges were filed about a week and a half later, including 3 counts of first-degree kidnapping and 2 counts of felony menacing. The suspect's bond was lowered in August to $100,000, and he bonded out of jail. By January, he entered a not guilty plea, which set the timer for 6 months to get the case to trial. The suspect's grandparents had moved out of state, and the DA says they were key witnesses based on statements they had made. According to the newly released documents, the suspect had told his grandmother he was, quote, going to be the next mass killer. The DA says they could not get the family members to respond to subpoenas. They asked for a continuance again, the defense objected, and the judge ultimately dismissed the case.
There's no likelihood that the witnesses are actually going to show up to testify. There's really no fault of the courts even in that point.
The DA maintains the case was prosecuted to the end. And we also learned more about the weapons the suspect had in possession in this 2021 case. The DA says the suspect used 2 guns, and the sheriff's office took those guns. The DA says those guns are still being held as evidence today. And we do know a protection order was put in place once those charges were filed, which prevented the suspect from having any weapons. But that was then that was lifted when the case was dismissed in July. We did learn the suspect made a request to get those guns back. That request was denied in August. In Colorado Springs, Alasyn Zimmerman, News 5.
Alasyn, thank you. Digging deeper for you tonight. How do we get to this point of the judge finally agreeing to unseal those documents? Well, the process began Monday, November 21st with the filing of a petition with the courts by both the 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office and a group of news outlets. We were seeking transparency and accountability on why the charges were dropped. Now, once the petition is filed, the court must consider several factors before such a decision is rendered, including hearing from both the victims in the case, the Club Q shooting suspect's mother and grandparents, since it was their home where the 2021 incident occurred and the basis of the initial charges being filed. Also, the defendant, in this case, the shooting suspect, and through their attorney, an objection to the public release was filed. Also, the judge must consider arguments from all parties involved in the petition process. Ultimately, it was up to the judge to weigh all sides and decide whether it was in the public's best interest to know this information. She agreed this morning. This afternoon, I spoke with First Amendment attorney Steve Zansberg, who filed the petition on behalf of News 5, the Colorado Press Association, the Colorado Broadcasters Association, and others, seeking public release of this information.
I would have hoped that it would have happened much sooner than it did, and that there wouldn't have been so much delay, which does lead to speculation and in some instances, perhaps inaccurate reporting. If people are going to complain about inaccurate reporting, then they should work to give the public the best information available, which is the records themselves.
And DA Allen did criticize the media during that news conference this afternoon about stories that came out based on the initial statements from the mother and grandparents of the suspect, but added he agrees with Allen that the state statute that allowed this information to remain sealed needs to change. He hopes this horrific crime will motivate our state lawmakers to act on it. He has no knowledge right now, he told me, of that being the case.